To that breaking news tonight, a deadly shooting involving an officer inside a popular Brazilian steakhouse in Buckhead. These are live images from outside of Fogo de Chao.
A family told us they were inside celebrating a graduation when a former employee fired a gun. We have video tonight showing the moments right after the shooting. You can see people right away from their tables trying to see exactly what happened.
I want to give you a map here to give you a better idea of where exactly this happened. It's the restaurant on Piedmont Road between Peachtree Road and East Paces Ferry. Channel 2's Matt Johnson is there live for us. Matt, what have you learned tonight?
Wendy, this scene has been extremely active for the past 4 hours. Just within the last 30 minutes, one lane of Piedmont here has reopened while the GBI is investigating this deadly shooting that happened with a dining room full of customers inside. Police just gave us an update within the last hour to tell us the security guard who was shot is stable. The suspect is dead, and this all happened in front of horrified customers. A deadly shooting inside Fogo de Chao in Buckhead left one man dead, a security guard injured, and customers frantically trying to get to safety. Video from inside the restaurant we obtained moments after the shooting shows police officers keeping customers back from the deadly scene. APD says an officer shot a former employee who was causing a disturbance after that man shot a security guard.
But our officers did a great job to isolate the subject to the front of the business where no patrons were in harm's way.
Police say it all happened just after 7 o'clock on Piedmont Road Wednesday night. APD says the officer who responded to an unruly customer call used a taser on the man, but it had no effect, and that's when the man tried to run.
The security for the business was able to tackle the subject.
That's when police say the former employee got his own gun and shot the security guard. The responding officer shot and killed the suspect near the front of the restaurant.
She called me pretty hysterical.
Ronell McNeil's wife was inside for a graduation party when the shooting happened. He says their group tended to the security guard before first responders took him to a hospital.
We're trying to put towels on his chest before the EMT got to him to get him out.
The GBI is handling the police shooting and no names have been released. Friends of the man who died showed up to the scene in disbelief that he would be described as violent.
This is my close friend and that's why I'm here, and I know his family he's not from here, so I don't know who's here for him.
And the GBI is expected to release more information about the shooting tomorrow morning, about what might have led up to this shooting, and also some names of the people involved. We'll, of course, stay with this story. Live in Buckhead, Matt Johnson, WSB Tonight.
Good evening, or good afternoon. Today is Thursday, it's May 19th. The year is 2022. So we've had two incidents here in Atlanta in recent weeks where police officers have had to shoot and kill two black men in restaurants. One was at Roasters, which is right up in Buckhead off Lenox Road, and here we are at Fogo de Chao, extremely high-end, expensive Brazilian steakhouse. I've been to this restaurant on numerous occasions. Very expensive. It's kind of like an all-you-can-eat buffet with high-end steaks and chicken and various sections. If you've ever been to a Brazilian steakhouse, they bring the food to your table, you choose what you want to eat. So this young man, who was 22 years of age, was shot and killed in the restaurant by police after he was having, according to his family, he was having a issue with depression and bipolar and all this other stuff. This is my problem. The mother is saying that the police failed her son. I'm thinking, ma'am, the police are just here to protect the general public. Your son was acting a fool in the restaurant, shot a bodyguard, at a security officer at the restaurant, possibly killed him, and the officers returned fire and shooting and killing him. So I have a lot of questions. Where's your son, who you knew was going through depression, bipolar? Was he being treated? Was he on medication? Was he following procedures, going to medication, doing everything they needed to be done? Because I'm willing to bet $10 million that man was not doing any of the stuff. This is odd to me. We've had two incidents in the past few weeks at two different restaurants where two black men were in there having mental health episodes, which you all have to understand this, because I live here in Atlanta. Recreational drugs play a huge part in the lifestyle here for marijuana, methamphetamine, coke. And I'm not saying that these guys are even on this type of stuff, but I have a sneaky suspicion that when you mix mental health issues with recreational drug use, we got a problem that ends and never ends well. So when you have people dealing with mental health issues, recreational drugs, not on medication, not seeking treatment, family members, if anybody let this young man down, it has been his family members who knew this man had some serious mental health issues, and they sat with him in his apartment for 2 hours waiting for the police to come to take him to a hospital for 2 hours. They couldn't, that mother and father could not grab up their son, a 22-year-old little skinny kid, put him in that damn car and take him to go get treatment. Why do they need the Atlanta police to come to take your son to get treatment? What is going on with black folks? This doesn't make sense to me. But you're blaming the Atlanta police for killing your son, but y'all sat there for 2 hours waiting for the police to come. When y'all could have grabbed that boy and put him in the car and took him on up the road, got something. I mean, seriously, I'm beginning to wonder. I don't understand why all these black families have these all these black folks think the police are not mental health. They don't run a mental health agency to help your son get treatment for his bipolar and depression that he's not handling on his own, who's probably not taking his medication, probably not in treatment. Y'all turning him into a hospital bed. I already know enough people here in Atlanta, within my own family members and friends I know, who they just won't take their medications. They know they got some serious mental health issues and they won't take their medication. They're just non-compliant, or they don't take it regularly, or something going on where they won't take their medications the way they should be taking it, and then these episodes happen. And they expect the Atlanta police, who are busy dealing with murderers, rapists, and killers, and shoot all kinds of shit, they don't have time to rush your child to an emergency room or a hospital because y'all got a bed waiting. That's something you have to do as a family unit. You all have to do that. And I have a serious problem with these families because I have family members of mine who have mental health issues, and my family has been very anti-medication, anti-doctor, so I know other black families are having the same issue here. We don't look at medication and treatment as a cure, or we sometimes view, I don't, but I know some of my family, my mother, they view doctors in a bad light. We don't view going to your doctor, taking your medication, getting treatment, seeking mental health therapy. We don't take it important. And because of that, Niggerville is being terrorized by these crazy niggas out there. They're terrorizing our communities, literally making these areas unsafe for people to live a normal life because they won't go get treatment. And that, y'all, let's just keep it real. We all know plenty of black folks who need to be under the care of a psychiatrist and on medication and treatment for whether it's bipolar, depression, schizophrenia, all this different maniac behaviors that we see. We can't just rely on God, Jesus, and prayer no more. That shit ain't never worked. Niggerville gotta wake their ass up. This boy is dead right now because I don't think he was, and I don't know him, and I'm just assuming that there was some issues here along the way, but this man did not take care of his health the way he should have. And if this mother thinks that having the Atlanta police, they're not nurses and doctors. The police department was never designed to handle mental health issues. Why black families insist we're going to call 911 to get the police over here to get my son to the hospital. Okay. This is flat out ignorance. If they wanted their son to get help and treatment, they should have literally grabbed that boy, put him in the back of a car, and took him to go get treatment. Forced him to go, even against his own will. He probably had his own apartment in the city of Atlanta. So he hadn't been working someplace. Something's not right with this whole story. He left there. He left the parents. The parents was down there with him for several hours, waiting for police to come. For 2 hours, the police never showed up before finally he left. I guess he said he was hungry, he was going to get him something to eat. But he was having this issue. This is concerning to me because, like I said, just a few weeks ago, another young black man had another mental health breakdown and ended up at Roasters on Lenox Road in Buckhead, not too far from, well, they're both in Buckhead, but they ain't walking distance from each other. But they're both these restaurants were located in Buckhead. But this guy ended up at Roasters off Lenox Road, and he ended up getting into a police officer. The officer shot and killed him. This goes back to my question about recreational drug use. You know, is that what was going on with these people? Recreational drugs. Is that what the issue was? Is that what the issue was? With this, were they using recreational drugs? Were they getting high? What was the issue? What was going on? And I think that might be part of the problem. That might have been one of the biggest issues. If we sit back and we wonder, you sit back and you wonder, what took place? What was going on in his mind's mind? What happened that led to this incident? Both these guys. If anything, black families have failed their children with their ideology and belief that being on medication for mental health issues or going to see a psychiatrist or a therapist is taboo. I've sat in these churches and heard these pastors make very negative comments about going to see a doctor for mental health treatment. All you needed was the blood of Jesus. I never forget, I went out there to Bishop Eddie Lone's church, who's dead now. And he stood up there in front of that congregation, told them, you don't need a doctor, you don't need a psychiatrist, you don't need this, and you don't need medication. All you need is this little thimble, this blood of Jesus. And everybody was clapping and applauding. I'm thinking, y'all, am I listening? Who? What? And the church went up thinking, I'm thinking they standing on their feet screaming about this bullshit, and y'all believe this fucking mess? That's why these two men are dead. And you all pay very close attention. We have a community full of black men suffering from mental health issues. If you look at these incidents that have taken place here in Atlanta, remember a few months ago, this young man shot up this Midtown high-rise and killed that girlfriend, and was jumping from balcony to balcony, and they shot him, and the police get over there and have to shoot and kill his crazy ass. You take these guys and they have serious mental health issues, and you mix in this cocaine, methamphetamine, mollies, whatever, ecstasy, all this different stuff, it's not good. And as a black gay man, I know the black gay community, they won't admit this, but you got a lot of black gay guys suffering from mental health issues, and on top of that, they're using these drugs, and it is not a good combination at all. It is a disaster. And I don't know these two gentlemen that were killed. I've never met them. One was 22, I don't think the other was about 30. But I'm willing to bet, and see, we never get the toxology test and what happened with this person, because, they're not supposed to. Sometimes they release that to the media, but most times they don't. But I'm willing to bet $10 million that those two men, and I'm just basing this upon my dealings with dealing with family members and friends with mental health issues. Once they put through that drugs and liquor, and it turns into a disaster. It's like it goes from a problem being on a level 1 to a 10. It just explodes. And this young man who was killed in that restaurant up there, they said he was drinking liquor straight out the bottle. Like he grabbed the bar. I guess he grabbed the bottle of Hennessy from behind the bar and was just drinking it. Yeah, I have some friends who have had some very serious mental health issues. And Lord, it took a lot. I don't deal with a couple of these guys no more. First off, I don't have any children. And it's very difficult for me to deal with people on that level when I'm not really related to you. I'm just a friend, but I realize that you're having a mental health issue, a mental health breakdown. And I can't do nothing for you. And earlier in this video, I said the parents should have gotten that child in that car and got him to help. I still firmly believe they should have tried much harder. Instead of sitting there for 2 hours waiting for the Atlanta police to show up, they should have tried really hard to figure out some way to get him to that hospital and get him where he needed to be. Because I'm sure he didn't think he was having any problems. I've seen this mess. That's why I just keep my distance. I had a friend who was bipolar. I know of a couple people who were diagnosed and being treated for being bipolar, and you all, that was our journey. One day everything be great, the next day all hell breaking loose. And for me personally, I couldn't ride that roller coaster ride any longer in regards to dealing with people dealing with those types of issues. I don't have any children, not my responsibility. Good luck dealing, I have a friend who works for Atlanta Public Schools here in Atlanta. And they have all these kids in these schools, and the parents refuse to allow the school system to medicate their children. They're against it. The kids are terrorizing the schools. And they're just out of control. And these parents will not allow against their child being medicated to get them medicated and are in treatment to deal with these behavior issues, which could be attention to deficit disorder, or it could be all kinds of stuff. And this is why when I go on Facebook and I read this stuff about they're trying to poison our kids and they're trying to over medicate our children, I'm thinking, if y'all not seeing these wild ass fucking heathens running around here, they need to be on some type of psychotropic medication. But we don't want to do that. We don't want our children to be medicated. We don't want our children in therapy. We don't want to acknowledge that there are serious problems within the black community with untreated mental health issues. We don't want to deal with that. We don't want to deal with it. So I say I just keep my distance. I hate that this incident happened with these two young men, the one at Gillette Roasters and the one, but there are so many incidents of mental illness within the community, within these communities, that it is disturbing. It may not make a lot of sense. We may never ever be able to root out all these issues. But wouldn't it be a good idea for black folks to start embracing treatment for mental health issues? Fulton County has a program here where they help people resolve. They have mental health professionals, doctors, licensed doctors and psychiatrists who work for Fulton County. And that program they set up is not even at nowhere near capacity. Maybe half capacity. I saw a news report on TV about it. And I think it was set up right before the pandemic started or right during the pandemic or something. I can't remember, but it was clearly they were not getting the people that they need. They were not able to reach all the people. They are capable of reaching, but people are not coming in there. Black folks, there's something wrong with us when it comes to mental health treatment. We don't want to acknowledge that we got some crazy people running around us. Whether it's our family members, a brother, sister, a cousin, or uncle, or aunt, or just people in general. It's like we just want to ignore it for whatever reasons. I firmly think that until black Americans embrace treatment, going to see a psychiatrist, going to see a therapist, taking your medications that help you control these issues, whether it's bipolar or depression, schizophrenia, or whatever other, there's a multitude of mental health issues out there. Until we embrace it, we're never going to see the violence in our communities drop. There's a lot of violence going on, shootings, killings every day. Until we embrace and encourage our members of our community, and I know y'all scheme, white folks do it too. Yeah, we know, but that's it. We got to deal with our own issues right now. Do I think that young man who went up there and shot that grocery store in Buffalo had some serious mental health issues going on? Of course he did. There's no doubt about it in anybody's mind. This man was caught up with a bunch of fake mess off the internet. Who would sit there and follow some bullshit off the internet? He definitely was having some serious mental health issues that were clearly untreated. And so he went on a rampage and killed innocent people. But anyway, if we don't start encouraging our brothers and sisters that it's okay to go get help, that it's okay to get on medication to treat your issues. And I ain't talking about no nuts and berries and organic honey. There's medications out there. There are many medications that work, psychotropic medications that are used to treat these disorders that do work, but you have to stay on your medication and stay in treatment and to keep this situation under control. And to blacks, we encourage each other and embrace these types of treatments. Our community is gonna stay lost and caught up in a whole lot of chaos for quite some time to come. It's getting to a point when I ever have these conversations with people about mental health, people get angry. I don't know why. Y'all don't see all these crazy black folks running in the streets of Atlanta? I do. Every time I drive into the city, I see all these black people in the city of Atlanta, homeless with serious mental health issues, running the streets, talking to themselves, having you all don't see all this stuff? I do. And unfortunately, I see it with some members of my own family. But anyway, I love to read you all's thoughts and opinions. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share these videos with family members. If we ever gonna change Nygil, this has to be done. This is probably the number one issue in our community, is dealing with the non-treatment of mental health issues. We cannot, we've ignored it for just too long. I don't know why, but we just do. But anyway, today is Thursday, May 19th, years 2022. I'm out of here. Look forward to reading you all's comments and messages. Please don't forget to subscribe to my channel and share my videos with family members and friends. It's just my thoughts, just my opinions. Nothing spectacular going on over here. I'm still over here working on this house. I'm about tired of this mess. But anyway, it is what it is. I got myself into this. I just have to figure out how to get myself through it and out of it. Anyway, I'm out of here. I'll come back to you all later on. Today is Thursday, May 19th, the year 2022. I'm out. Enjoy the rest of your afternoon.